Hey guys, welcome back to Race Talk episode 5. We had a couple weeks off there for a little summer break, and now we're going to get right back to it. First off, a couple of announcements. I think we're approaching 75 members now in our Facebook group. It's continuing to grow. I want to say thank you and welcome to the new members. For those who don't know me, I am Matthew Lewis, the founder of Race Talk. And again, I'll just repeat a little bit about why I created this group. This is a universal motorsports group. We share information from F1 to Pirelli World Challenge, NASCAR, Indy Series, you name it. If it's got a motor in it, we are going to promote it. I try to do the best I can to kind of get information and knowledge out there for covering everybody's interest. But that's not always possible, so it's kind of a hard, daunting task. And at times there's so much information coming in, you're trying to get it all into the group, and it's just not possible. But it's getting better, and over time things will change, and more information will be readily available as I determine what sources I really like to use, what sources I do not like to use, etc. But again, thank you guys, and for those that are I don't have to list names, but there are some major contributors to the group, and I really appreciate the things you guys do. It does not go unnoticed, for sure. This week, I'm going to post a video on Friday. In episode 4, I did a preview about what the giveaway for June was going to be, and I'm going to preview that again on Friday, along with how you can win that prize. That'll be something that'll be drawn in 30 days from Friday. So really cool. If you haven't seen it, you're going to want to check it out. That's for sure. If you had not had the chance, go to YouTube, go to Race Talk channel and subscribe. I upload all the episodes up to that channel. There's a couple other videos every time I travel to something, especially the racing series, which I usually travel between November and March. That's the bulk of all the races I catch, and I'll make some videos, post them up there. I'm also going to be doing a couple new things with some of the car shows that I will be posting interviews with car owners starting next month. So look forward to that as I attend Cars and Coffee of Palm Beach Christmas in July edition. So that should be a good one. And that kind of fills the summertime because I am down here in South Florida. There's not a whole lot of racing right next to me. New Smyrna is about 3 hours north. So I make do with what I can do. I'll have the TV, the phone, and the computer all on different races to kind of keep up with some of this stuff. And as long as I don't forget it in my head, I'll try to get it to you guys. So again, thank you for your support. I appreciate it. Let's just kick this off with last week. Let's start with the truck series. Ross Chastain wins the race, fails inspection. This guy is like the feel-good story of NASCAR. The underdog gets a chance, gets his ride taken away from him due to corruption within a company and then having to file bankruptcy. So you ultimately lose a sponsor, which funds your ability to run for the year. Then your chances with this team are no longer there. However, the good part is he's still under contract. So he still collects a check from Chip Ganassi. And inevitably, if something opens up, which I imagine, despite the rumors, there's more rumors of another team closing at the end of this year, but we'll get into that. But I could probably see him taking the one with Kurt Busch. However, Kurt Busch is actually in the process of negotiation to run one more year for Chip Ganassi, as well as getting the chance to run for one of Chip's Le Mans teams. So that should be interesting. I hope Kurt does get that opportunity to run Le Mans. That is a fascinating race, a historical part of auto racing that I think every driver should have the opportunity to partake in if that's something that they find fits their bill. But absolutely. So, you say, well, can he take the one car? I don't know. I think you're going to see him more likely in a top Xfinity ride, get some wins, maybe a championship under his belt, and then swiftly see him in a very well put together cup situation. So Failed inspection. I haven't seen an article yet about how exactly he failed. I know the car was too low, but by how much are we talking? Are we talking a 1,000th? People were out there saying, oh, his car was 5 inches too low. It's impossible. Your car is not 5 inches off the ground to begin with. So a lot of speculation. A lot of people like to jump the gun. And when someone's down, they take advantage of it. And that's pretty much all the Twitter field had out there. So I felt bad for Ross Chastain, but a rule's a rule. And ultimately, your team has to move on. And he did, and the team picked themselves up, went right into Gateway this weekend, and he said it. They were going to stomp all over them, and I don't know how he does it. He can have no tires, nothing, and he can hang on to that thing no matter how loose as he is, no matter how much air is taken off of his car, put on his car, he will fight and hang on. He is a dog, and he will never give up. And I'm very impressed with him. I'm glad to see him win. Now he's 34 points or 28 points, 34 or 28 points away from breaking the top 20. He needed a win and top 20 in points to have a run in the playoffs. I don't see that's going to be a problem. I think he's got to beat Josh Ryomi, I think, for position, and he's there. So hopefully he'll continue this stride. I think he's going to get another couple wins, no doubt, especially the way he's driving the team. He's got a phenomenal crew chief that's doing a great job right now, and just overall happy for him. Really bummed out to see him get that $50,000 last week and have that stripped from him. Now this week, a lot of controversy also going on about the suspension of Johnny Sauter. Everybody saw in the truck race. Johnny Sauter moved Austin Hill out of the way. Austin Hill got back to Johnny Sauter, moved him out of the way, except Johnny Sauter went back into the wall. And then during the caution, Johnny Sauter decided to seek revenge and go spin Austin Hill out, trying to end his day. Johnny was then called to the NASCAR hauler, told to park it in the garage. He did so. Austin Hill went on about the race. I believe he finished 10th or just cracked the top 10. And so didn't really affect his day all that much. He rebounded from that caution. The damage was minor. It looked like it was going to be worse, but so interesting. NASCAR had decided to go ahead and suspend Johnny Sauter, and in the process of suspending him, he's still eligible for the playoffs. He's still, nothing's been taken away from him. No point deduction, nothing like that. So he decided, well, let's make this a small vacation. I'm going to go to Wisconsin, run a late model race, and hang out with my fans up there. And Mike Snyder filled his position and did fairly well. So, look, I'm all about rules. Just be consistent. If I can think of a couple situations right now where drivers had hit somebody, spun somebody, whatever, there should be no car-to-car contact unless it's a congratulatory thing or something like that. But as far as in retaliation, it should be an automatic suspension or something, so a point deduction, something. Just like think about basketball. You get a technical foul, or in football, you can get ejected in football. There's no difference. The officials are the refs. They need to be able to protect themselves, protect the other athletes as well. So they need to come up with something, because there's too much, well, it was okay. And it's like, and I'll be honest, the situation that comes to mind is the Truex Roval situation with Jimmy Johnson. Race was over, went back and hit Jimmy. Totally understand it, get it. I'm all for it. But if the penalties are going to be there, NASCAR needs to hold that throughout the field. And that's crucial, and it's really important, because then you get all this controversy. Well, they allowed it for him, and Kyle Busch got this. They need to make it same penalty, all three series, because that is a serious offense. You know, you could seriously hurt somebody. You could potentially damage other competitors' cars. You know, there's a big finance aspect to it. You know, that it costs other teams money, and I'd be really pissed off, to be honest with you, if you wrecked my car, cost me 60 grand in damages and you know, repairs and all that, and I had nothing to do with it, and you just wanted to throw a temper. So I think he'll learn from that. You know, ultimately it doesn't really affect him. It might affect him as far as what he's racing next year, but as far as the rest of this year, it's just a weekend off for him, which they're pretty much used to because the Truck Series obviously don't run every single week like I wish they would. So yeah, Ross Chastain takes Gateway, smashes another watermelon, this time walks away with 50 grand, passes inspection, no questions about it. Couldn't believe it. So let's touch base real quick on the so Pirelli World Challenge was in Sonoma 2 weeks ago. What a race that was in the GT3 division. Just a big shout out to a good buddy of mine, Mike Cooper. Wheelman, one race won. McLaren's first race, he was won in with McLaren. And second place, I mean, they were on sticker tires and he was just not going to stand a chance. And race two, the guy that was in second had sticker tires and wasn't going to be denied, so Mike unfortunately finished second in race two. But at the end of race one of the weekend, some weekends they do one race, most weekends they do two races, and they usually travel around with the IndyCar series. You know, so it's totally different than NASCAR, but it's so interesting. You know, they have different classes among themselves. They have an overall class for position. They have all these different manufacturers and horsepower. You know, they have the Camaro, which is a different horsepower, naturally aspirated vehicle, to like the McLaren, which are the supercar. It's totally different and really unique. But again, big shout out to Michael Cooper. Very cool to see his first victory this year. Another good race for him coming up is going to be Road America. And yeah, they're on break right now for the rest of June. I'm not sure what their first race back is. It may be Road America. So I'll keep you guys posted. I try to post the links of some of the races in the past. They post roughly every week or 2 weeks after the event. But I'll keep you guys up to date on that. Definitely worth a watch. There's some wild vehicles in there, I tell you. So, yeah. So we spoke of Johnny Sauter. We spoke of Ross Chastain. Going into Sonoma this weekend, the ARCA race. That was something that I was looking very forward to. Fan Choice TV had a little bit of issues in, like, I'd say the first 15, 20 laps, so I missed that whole beginning. Hailie Deegan got pole. Very excited for her. All right, let me clear the slate here. A lot of people talk in Twitter and on the internet and stuff like this. Oh, Hailie Deegan, this. There were people commenting about, oh, she wrecks and tears up equipment. Look, there's a big difference between Hailie Deegan and Natalie Decker. Hailie Deegan has won 3 K&N races. She has won a couple pole positions now. And nonetheless, she is continuing to put her footprint in the industry. That girl is all race car driver and doesn't care about anything else. Natalie Decker is not doing well. Like I said, Natalie Decker belongs in like a Pirelli World Challenge, GT3 series, something like that. Traction control, stability, you name it, she needs that. And I'm not trying to be offensive, I'm just being honest. I've seen her run in series, in worldwide series, that she can actually perform way better in those cars, not so well in a stock car, or at least in the professional 3 tiers. So I feel for her. I feel like she's costing DGR Crosley a lot of money. And sponsorship is going to get hard for her. So, and the fact that Hailie Deegan is winning races and making a name, and being aggressive about it also makes a statement and makes her a little more enticing. So, I like Natalie Decker. I would like to see her succeed, but unfortunately, I think this is not the career path for her in this particular series. Now, with Deegan, look, I have no problem with what she did with Cross at the end of that race to get that victory. Eye for an eye, and if you're going for the win, you need to do what you got to do. And being a woman at that, a young girl, hell, your chances against a bunch of guys are slim to none already, probably. So you give it all you got, and she's got the equipment, and now she's got the attitude to do it, and the skill set to do it. So I'm excited to see what her future holds. She's already surpassed Danica. In a year, she's done what Danica couldn't in a decade, hands down. So you're going to see this woman make history in a whole different way than what some of the other women have done in NASCAR. So hopefully that keeps going. And but some of the other things about the ARCA race yesterday, and by the way, Hailie Deegan actually did very well at Sonoma, given the circumstance, starting on pole. I knew the Cup guys were going to probably get to the front, which were Cup Xfinity guys were in there. And I knew that they would kind of get to the front. There were a couple of names that I'm not really familiar with that were up there in the top 8 that ran really well for that whole race. Daniel Hemrick coming in second. We saw the drama of the K&N race was Ryan Preece getting black flagged. Now, everyone was like, well, he got black flagged, so Noah's the golden boy, blah, blah, blah. But I just want to say this much. Noah also got black flagged restarts before that. That's why he was in the back. He came through the pits when he was leading and ultimately had to charge up through. And he was aggressive all day long. If you were in his way, you were either getting moved. If you weren't moving right away, he was going to move you. He was not going to be denied this race. So a hell of a job for Noah Gragson. There was not much on that car untouched. He had gaps in the fenders. You name it. That car had been worn and torn, and it showed. So really cool to see that happen, him take that victory. But I'm getting the gist of K&N rules are a little crazy. I did not like that when a caution comes out, you go to your last scoring position. I think a lot of guys work too hard, especially on that road course, to gain positions, and for them to just be taken away due to someone else spinning out, I thought was wrong. And it also threw a lot of confusion to me because I couldn't figure out why cars were getting sent back. But I figured it out before the end of the race. They need to change that rule immediately. If not, if they can't change it immediately effective for this year, they absolutely need to change that going into 2020. Because you're screwing the drivers, you're hurting your fan base, really. Your fans are cheering for the driver, and then they keep seeing their driver getting taken from first to second, or making a run up to fourth, and now they're going back to eighth because they passed 3 cars in a half a lap. That's not really ideal. And I don't think the jumping of the restarts there were necessary. I don't think Gragson should have got a black flag and had to come in and do a penalty. I don't think that should have happened to Preece. I don't get it. I saw the replays. I don't get it. But they make the calls. I could understand why Ryan Preece was so upset and explicit in his interview, but you're going for a win, and you have wins are hard to come by, as everybody has said. Every driver states that, but he's also, not winning on Cup side. His Cup rides have been fair to middling. Nothing crazy. He's had some good runs and some bouts of success, but that was his opportunity to get a win at Sonoma for sure. So totally get his frustration. Martin Truex takes it home for the Cup guys. 3rd time winning at Sonoma, 2 years straight. Seemed to have it figured out. Whether he's with Furniture Row or Joe Gibbs, makes no difference. Even adding the carousel, that didn't make a difference at all. I thought the race was good. I understand it was like kind of single file, everyone's going, but you got to understand the anticipation of things that can happen, the patience that are involved, and in that particular track, Sonoma, I like to think is more of a game of chess. I'm watching more for strategy, how the pit outcomes are going to be. So yeah, there are large gaps where you're kind of just waiting for something, but at the same time, those strategies and that chess game is crucial for that track. Watkins Glen, you can be a little more racy. It's not as complicated as Sonoma. So those are just some of the things you're going to see there. And but 4 wins for Truex. That makes him and Kyle Busch the top dogs. Gibbs Racing also the top dogs, leading the NASCAR series. So they're looking good going into the playoffs. Now it's going to be about racking up playoff points, bonus points that you can transfer over. So yeah, overall, real good. I have no clue where we go next weekend. I'm trying to find my schedule here. I have no clue where we go. So that's a surprise for me. IndyCar ran today at Road America. Alexander Rossi won that. Colin Herta got the pole. You know, that kid's fast, always showed a lot of speed. He tends to make some in-race mistakes, you know, just he's learning. I mean, what do you expect? He's a rookie. And but I think you're going to see him come alive one day and be a multi-time champion in IndyCar. That is if continue to make some mistakes. Okay, so IndyCar will be going on July 14th up to Toronto. So that'll be the next race for them, and that should be a good one. Not bad. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to next year. Everything that's going on, some of the changes that are coming. Heard little glimpses of some of the ideas to play around with the Gen 7 car. My opinion about the Gen 7 car is you're going to see something along the lines of IMSA. More factory stock items involved. You're going to also see probably a more eco-friendly system involved. Not saying electric, but I'm saying hybrid, which just means maybe they'll have some better gas mileage, stuff like that, different emissions, etc. But every time I think I've gotten onto something, they come out and announce something or something else changes. But I do think you're going to see something that's more of like what the manufacturer has, like you do in the GT4 series out there, the GT3 series. So I think... And it's good. And to be honest with you, if you've seen those other series and you've been to a race or know somebody that races and have gotten to kind of be behind the scenes, it's kind of the way to go. You get a lot of manufacturer help, and there's a lot more help out there in the world for those cars than just based on what we use today, which takes kind of like specialty training per se. So, I just can't wait. I mean, this is going to be a long year and a half to get some more info on that. So yeah, you guys stay tuned. Again, thank you for joining. And Friday, we'll post up the video of the giveaway. And if you have not had the chance, go to YouTube, subscribe to the channel, Race Talk. And this video will be uploaded there, as well as... some other ones that I'm going to be putting up there soon, so you'll be able to check those out. I'm trying to think, what am I missing for this week? I feel like I'm missing something, but I don't know. So, again, thank you guys for all your support. I really appreciate it. I can't wait to, man, I just can't wait. I want to get down to Homestead. I'm really excited for the championship this year. I think we're going to see some really good racing in Homestead. I'm excited. I want to see Ross Chastain get to Homestead. I want to see Truex get to Homestead again. Xfinity, I don't know. I don't really have. I guess I'd like to see Tyler Reddick continue his dominance. I'd like to see it come down to a crazy race between Tyler Reddick, Christopher Bell, and Cole Custer. And I'm actually very impressed with Cole Custer this year. So I think Bell is due for a championship, but I don't think Tyler Reddick's going to give it to him that easy. So, we can't wait. Like I said, I don't know where they're racing next weekend, so I'll get back to you guys on that in next week's episode when we recap where they are. But again, thank you guys for joining, and stay tuned next Monday, and I'll see you then. Thank you.